Hello out there, all you wonderful people. This is Andre, the Game Idea Guy. Thank you once again for lending me your time and your ear, listening into another Gamer's Thoughts discussion. And this one is going to be about Google and Stadia not having a first-party studio anymore. Now, I've said it multiple times since Stadia has been a thing, that there have been several missteps. There was a semi-botched launching of the platform, and it's just there just wasn't a lot working in their favor with the fact that they killed Hangouts on Air. They killed Google Plus. They basically crippled all of the things that would have helped this platform be very strong and very viable for the gaming community. And they did that themselves by killing Hangouts on Air and Google Plus before Stadia even came out. And it's one of those things that Google does. It's a weird thing with them. It's like you have something that's working and it's good, and then nope, toss. If I understood the internal workings of Google, I may have a better picture as to why some of this stuff happens. But a lot of it just doesn't make sense. Now, will not having a first-party studio for them hurt Stadia? Yes, it will. Mostly because there isn't really, an individually attractive option on that platform that isn't going to be somewhere else. And that's the main problem. Like everything that was on Stadia it was going to other platforms. They need something for themselves. And with Stadia just, not having first-party development, that's going to be a problem. Now, people have suggested that, they could go ahead and make exclusive contracts with other teams, but in effect, that's them spending extra money to have those teams work on games that they could have had their own in-house team develop. But then again, hey, without seeing a product, maybe, just maybe, their team wasn't producing anything good. See, that's the flip side to this. And unfortunately, we just don't know. Though I do think that if they are still interested in pushing headlong into, having this online game streaming platform, then they really do need to make sure that they invest in first-party stuff. They need to have their own exclusive stuff. And I get why a lot of people probably wouldn't care about that. But you have to understand, in gaming, your gimmick is your life. Whether people want to realize that or not, if you can't come up with an interesting gimmick that people will buy into, then you're screwed. And streaming itself, it's an okay gimmick. And I can understand where people who just can't afford to pay for a big PC rig or a decent enough PC rig to play games on, at least not in the onset, would want to use Stadia. It's like it's a mid-tier option to be able to play games. That, and also you kind of have to be close to those data centers to get a really decent You know, to get a really decent connection. I don't know why that word was eluding me. But to get a decent connection to really take advantage of the service. If you're too far away from one, then you are screwed, and it would not be worth the money for you. So, in my opinion, yeah, Google, they're screwing the pooch right now. They really, really, really do need to have their own first-party games. A couple other things that would help Stadia is if they brought something like Google Plus back. If they attempted to reinfuse Hangouts on Air into YouTube, if they decided, we're going to allow our mobile achievement system to connect with your Stadia account, aka Google Play, and share your account information back and forth, and also allow you to make purchasing decisions for your Stadia account through Google Play. Again, I will not understand why they separated those things. And finally, they need to get their messaging right. Because honestly, their advertising leaves a lot to be desired for Stadia, and they really don't tell you much about any games. At least for the stuff that's supposed to be exclusive, was supposed to be exclusive, you really didn't hear much about those games. And that bothered me for a while. I mean, you got to have at least something that you're willing to bring to the table, especially since you have the biggest video sharing platform on the planet. And that video sharing platform has had examples of horribly botched launches and what not to do for running a video game empire, so to speak. So it's like all of this information, all of this data that Google has, they did not know what to do with it, or they didn't even attempt to use it. But I mean, I would love to see Stadia remain an option for people, because I am definitely for someone who may not have the money to, again, spend on $600 or $700 PC to play games that they want to play. Yeah, we're in that territory. We're not in the thousands of dollars to have a decent rig to play games now. Depending on where you go, you could get a pre-built that's probably like $400, maybe $500. That'll run games that'll play on the Series X and PS5. And that's no bull. But, again, that's up to Google. But I really do also think that it would be a good option for them to actually have a physical platform for Stadia. It doesn't have to be any more than a dummy box that just allows you to put a hard drive in it so you can at least have backups of the games in case the service goes down. Then at that point, you could just plug those hard drives into a PC and run them off that. But it's like they didn't account for that type of stuff. Again, it's just my thoughts. But, I don't know. We'll have to see what they do in the coming months. But it feels like Stadia is a dead fish in the water. I'd prefer it not be, because I think that multiple options should be available to people. But that might just be the case. But thank you guys very much for listening to me drone on. Keep your eyes and ears up for more stuff from me. And until the next time, enjoy your games. Peace out.